This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Scott Howell.
Hello, good neighbors, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast, brought to you by the Friends and Neighbors Group of Cleveland and the greater Chattanooga area. Again, my name is Scott Howell, and I'm your host. And for all you first-time listeners out there, the purpose of the Good Neighbor Podcast is to bring an awareness to the residents of our communities regarding locally owned and or operated businesses in Cleveland, Chattanooga, and the surrounding areas. And small businesses are the backbone of our communities, and they need our support. And joining me today are our good neighbors, Cora and Destiny of Alchemy. Am I saying that correct? Alchemy MedSpa and Wellness Center. Just want to make sure that I said that correctly. So thank y'all for being our special guest today on the Good Neighbor Podcast.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited about learning more about what y'all do and what you have to offer. I was telling y'all before we started recording that some time ago I'd seen your website and was very impressed with what I saw and just the way you have it all set up, and really excited when I saw y'all were on the lineup. But before we jump in, Cora, you being one of the owners, would you like to share a little bit with us about maybe your family, yourself and your family?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we are actually a family-owned and run business. My mother and I are the co-owners, and then my dad is actually our medical director. So we talk business pretty much 100% of the time. But we are a full-service med spa with 3 locations in the Chattanooga and greater Chattanooga area. So we have our North Shore location, Cleveland, and then Dayton, with hopefully some more fun stuff to come. But we are a full-service spa is what we started out with. So we're doing all like the injectables and like laser treatments, facials, all that kind of like basic spa stuff. And then in our year 2, which is where we're at now, we got to actually kind of enter into the more wellness side of things. So we've brought on men and women's hormone management, weight loss, we're growing our IV therapy and massage therapy programs, and just have lots of fun stuff coming up.
Okay. And I guess that's kind of where Destiny enters in some of that. So she's a registered nurse. Destiny, tell us a little bit about yourself and your family, if you'd like to.
Yeah, so I am one of the only Spanish-speaking injectors in our area. So I do everything from Botox, filler, you name it, we probably operate here. So yeah, I'm just here to help them in every way possible. And
so you speak Spanish.
I do.
People that come and maybe English isn't their first language, and they maybe struggle with understanding or speaking a little bit, they can come to you and feel very comfortable because you're going to be able to guide them through the whole process.
Exactly. I think just the Spanish-speaking population is so underserved, not just necessarily in this field, but just in the medical field in general. So I like to be that barrier between, the happy side of nursing, which is aesthetics, Botox, filler, and then kind of bring in my Hispanic community and be able to help them.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Cora, that was a very smart idea to do that,
Yeah, and it really just kind of aligned with our all of our kind of ideals as well, because we wanted to be able to take care of anyone that walked through our door and give them, the full treatment they deserve. And when you can't communicate like with people, it's hard. So it's a big blessing for us to be able to have Destiny on staff. So we love her.
Absolutely. You've already kind of answered my first question. You told me a little bit about your business, what you do and what you offer. Cora, you and your mom being co-owners together, you said, and your dad being the medical director. Tell us about the journey. How did this come to be?
Well, it all started over a bottle of wine, and some ideas were thrown out there. We decided that night that we were going to just go for it and give it a try. 8 weeks later, we opened our doors. So we did a whole build out. It was very, very crazy. It was a very crazy 2 months, but I look back and it feels like I've been here forever. I can't imagine going back to anything else. But it's been really fun to do this with family as well. So it's brought my mom and I very, very close too, which, with family and working together, sometimes it's the opposite. So I feel very blessed. So,
well, that's great. That's great. And so how did you come up with the name Alchemy MedSpa? How did that come about?
It was actually the first thing we agreed on together. So we were like, okay, that'll work. It was one thing when I started into aesthetics, I always knew I wanted to be here and kind of have my own place and do things in a vision that I had for people and for aesthetics. Yeah. And I kind of floated the idea by her. She loved it, and we went with it and just kind of went on. So,
Destiny, how do you say that in Spanish? You're the name of the company.
It's just Alchemy MedSpa. Yeah.
Even in Spanish, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. That surprises me. So that's
Alchemy,
great.
Alchemy, we liked that word because it means like in like a very loose definition, it means making something better. So transformation, kind of that kind of deal. So we really enjoyed that, having kind of be like our guiding principle for especially with what we do. So
you mentioned you always knew that since you got into this, you wanted to have a place of your own to kind of to promote your vision. So talk to us about your vision.
Yeah. So my vision, and Tracy, our other owner, her vision, we have just seen some of like the more negative side of med spas and like kind of the negative perceptions and that. And we just really wanted to be able to offer something a little bit different. We wanted to be able to offer a place where people can kind of come and feel like they're not being judged for having insecurities or having things they want to work on. I myself deal with a lot of acne. So that's a lot of my patient base is teens, and they're very vulnerable. They come in and they are very, unhappy with their skin. They're very unhappy with things that are going on. And it's a good opportunity to get to love on people and just to really get to take care of them. So
I understand that, because when I was a teenager, I didn't have the acne problem as bad as I had the super oily facial skin and, the blackhead problems and all that. I mean, just had a tough time with that. So I understand what you're speaking about. When you said that about people sometimes have, insecurities about coming in. So talk to us about myths and misconceptions that people sometimes have coming in, not knowing exactly what to ask for, what to expect. Talk to us about that.
Sure. Do you want to hit this one first?
Yeah. So really, from my side of things, I think the biggest misconception is that people are going to look very fake and unnatural with fillers and Botox. When done correctly, I mean, most of the people don't really even know you have things done. You'd be surprised that I'm actually 60 years old right now. But for the most part, people really don't know that you get things done when done correctly. Obviously, I think we see on TV all these crazy celebrities, all these crazy things that they have done. But I think we're kind of steering away from that unnatural look and more of that natural kind of just enhancing your own natural beauty. And my biggest thing with my patients, I cut them off. I tell them I will not do any more filler on you if I feel that is their maximum point. So that's kind of a big misconception in my field, at least. So.
I would agree 100%. And I love her approach to things too, because she will say no. We do consults together sometimes, and sometimes we do have to kind of guide them in a different direction. But I think that's kind of a really beautiful pairing with being able to work side by side like that, and being able to
Absolutely.
And being able to not take advantage of people. That was our biggest thing, is we wanted, people are coming in, they're insecure. They have things that they want to talk about. The last thing that you want to do, and that we do here, is take advantage of people when they're already kind of down. And for me, I think as an esthetician, I guess the biggest misconception is I've seen a lot of, like I was saying, I deal with a lot of teens. So they come in and they're like, oh, I got all the skincare advice off of TikTok. So that's going to fix my skin. And I'm like, okay, well, so I think the biggest misconception for me is just, not all skincare, if it works, or I guess if it works for some person, it may not work for you. So dealing with that and kind of setting patient expectations and getting them to be educated, because I really like to teach and educate why I do or suggest certain things.
Dr. Google and Dr. TikTok, right? That's
yes.
a lot of not just in your industry, but a lot of misinformation out there in general. You mentioned that about Destiny, about, you will tell people no. You will tell people that's enough. That's really good to know, because, most of us, when we think of, having work done, we think of these Hollywood celebrities, right? And people that we see that are famous on TV. Most of the time, that's what we think of. And we see forgive me for using this word if I shouldn't, but train wrecks.
Yeah.
There was a very famous country and Western music star that it was a gentleman, and I saw him, and, I saw him for years, age on TV. And then one day I saw him, and he had his eyes had disappeared, and he had cracks, little slits for eyes. And it was like, he didn't even look like the same person. When you see stuff like that, it's a little scary. You think, oh my goodness, is that what I'm going to look like when I leave there? So it's great to know that, Cora, that y'all got a place that, you can say, okay, we think you've had enough here, kind of like going to the bar and having too much to drink. You have to cut you off at some point. So it's good to know.
Moderation. If you, drinking, if you drink too much, it can lead bad, but, a glass of wine or two. So same with me.
Yes. The reason we were laughing so hard while going, Destiny said that she's 60 years old. She's obviously probably just 20 something. And so we were laughing about that, because, if she's 60, she really looks good. I'm coming to see y'all tomorrow. If she's 60.
I always make that joke too. I'm like, yeah, with all the laser stuff I've done, I look really great for an 85-year-old. It's always a fun thing. But
I love it. Hey, a place we can. I'm sorry, I wasn't meaning to talk over the top of you.
We specialize in the natural result. That's kind of our little trademark. So
okay, yeah. But and it sounds like to me it's not only a place you can come get some serious work done, but you can have fun while you're there. It sounds like y'all have a good time. So
we do.
So let's step outside of work for a minute. Sure. I like to talk about us like we're real humans, right? We're not just a business owner. So what do you do for fun when you're not working, when you're not helping folks? What do you do to relax and rejuvenate yourself?
Myself, I'm a big reader. I also have a 6-year-old German Shepherd. So when I am home, I'm playing with her. My husband and I like to go and do actually estate sale shopping as well. So it's been kind of like a new hobby. So we get to kind of go out and just pop around on the weekends. But I'm also really into Pilates, and I got Destiny into Pilates as well.
Oh, so wow, really?
Suffer together multiple times a week.
I did a podcast interview this week with the Pilates studio in Chattanooga, so that's really interesting. Yeah, my big boy, my boxer, is laying over here beside of me, so he thinks he has to go everywhere I go.
Oh yes, I'm familiar with that.
And if you look up one day at one of those estate sales and see me coming, don't be surprised, because I love them too. Destiny, what about you?
I love traveling, so every second I can travel, I will. And then aside from that, really, I just like hanging out with my friends, family. I'm a cat lady. I love cats. And then, like Cora said, we recently became Pilates girlies, so we're going together and trying to get ready for the summer. Yes.
There you go. Hey, nothing like it.
Yes.
So, and Cora, I guess you're probably there on a daily basis, and so somewhat you're the face of the business because you're looked at as the owner. The buck stops here, right? So I just want to get a little personal for a moment and ask you a question. Have you, in your lifetime, had any hardships or life challenges that you have rose above, and now looking back, you can say, you know what, because of that, I'm stronger and better for it?
Yeah. So I think I have a kind of a cool story with why I'm so passionate about doing what I do. I struggled with acne from the time I was like 10 to 13. That's kind of when it started for me. And I saw estheticians for years. I had several that were, very unkind, and they were like, oh, well, it's just, you're dirty. You're not cleaning yourself well enough, and like for a teenager to hear that, and for someone who is washing her face, 3 times a day, her skin's raw, her skin's ragged, like it was hard. So,
I can't imagine. Wow.
When I got into my 20s, I was still dealing with it. I'm 27 now. And this is, I think, the first year I've been like mostly clear. So it's been a very long journey for me. I can remember just being very like torn up. I never wanted to leave the house without makeup. It was just always a struggle. and just kind of dealing with that like lack of confidence and all of that. I actually, when my husband and I got married, 3 months later, I actually quit my job without really telling him. And I decided I was going back to aesthetic school because I wanted to be able to take care of people in a way that I had not been taken care of. So that I'm very thankful for the struggle that I went through and for everything that I had to learn because now I get to take care of people on a daily basis and get to really understand them on a very personal level. I get very in tune with my patients. I get very attached to them, and I like to celebrate their wins, and I'll cry with them on their losses. So,
I would have never asked you on air how old you are, but now I'm super impressed because honestly, and this is not, I can see y'all, our listeners can't see you. I can see you, but if you would tell me you were 17, I would have believed you. I mean, so obviously you know what you're doing. So I appreciate that. Yeah. If there was one thing, Destiny, I want both of you to answer this. Destiny, I'm going to shoot at you first. If there was one thing that you wish our listeners knew about the business, knew about what y'all offer, that they probably wouldn't know unless you told them. If you were out by yourself and Cora wasn't with you and somebody just approached you and you could say, this is what we do, and you wanted to shout it from the rooftops, what would that be?
Really, it's just that we're people. I mean, this isn't like your doctor's office. You don't come in and you're not just, we're all people. We're here to help you. Everyone here is super kind. I mean, we sit down and we'll talk with you, and the biggest thing is we do our consultations for free. So we do consultations. We sit here with people. We explain everything to them. Everyone takes the time and, for you. And when you sit here in our chair, it's like you're the only person here. You have our undivided attention. So no commitment required. We're here for any questions. I know Cora too, we've messaged people after hours. I've had to FaceTime people at like 8:00 at night because they come up with a question, concerns, and I'm having to walk them through it. Like, it's okay, holding their hand. So I want them to know that like when they come and see us, it's not just come in, pay, never see you again, never speak to you again. We're going to be here with you throughout this journey after it. And then it's just, it's not your friends and family who become your patients. It's your patients who become your friends and stuff. So it's really, we're here in that sense. Yeah.
Cora, whatever you do, don't ever let Destiny go anywhere else, right? I mean, what she just said in that one short paragraph speaks volumes about your company. I mean, so what about you, Cora? If you weren't with Destiny and somebody approached you, what would you say?
Our goal always is to build a relationship. I never look at people as a dollar sign. I can remember how I have been treated and how I was treated in the past. And I never want to do that to someone. You're already coming in, you're vulnerable. I'm not going to make you feel more vulnerable. Oftentimes my clients, I'll get my personal cell and I answer text messages up until about 10:30 at night. And then I'm usually asleep. But I mean, I take a very personal approach to things. And I think we all kind of do. We're very invested. And like I said, we're just like a very relational staff. So we really like to be very relational with our patients as well. Because ultimately too, it takes a while to build that patient trust, and we're very honored when people choose us. But it's important to honor that relationship above all else.
I guess what I hear when both of y'all answered that question is that y'all go above and beyond to make sure that people are not only happy, but they know what they need to know. Mm-hmm. So when they're not in your office, they know what to do to continue the work you've already started.
Absolutely.
And the fact that y'all give a free consultation, I don't know if that's a standard in your industry or not, but I just think, man, that's awesome that somebody can come in and just say, hey, just look at me and talk to me first. And you're willing to do that for folks. That's amazing. That's really amazing. I'm really impressed with the professionalism of y'all. I'm a lot older than y'all. I'm old enough to be your parent, but I'm really impressed with both your professionalism, the way you handle yourself, the way you put yourself out there, explain your craft. What I feel when I listen to y'all speak, I feel passion that you really do care. And that means a lot when somebody comes in and needing things, needing advice, first of all, just needing advice, needing somebody to care about what when you said people treated you that way when you were young, oh my goodness, I can't imagine being your dad and you coming home and telling me that. Woo!
Yeah.
I mean,
it was hard, but again, hardships breed really good things most of the time.
Yeah, it taught you not to do it to other people.
Exactly. I mean, that's my first thing I usually tell my teens if they're kind of dejected. I'm like, hey, you're not dirty. It's not that. That's not part of the problem. Acne's a genetic condition. So
there's nothing like talking to somebody that's been there and done that, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I know everybody's probably wishing I'd shut up and give y'all an opportunity to say how to reach out to you or how to find out more about you. So online or offline, what are the best ways that people can do all that?
Yeah, if they want to schedule a consultation, they can do so online at alchemymedspa.com, or they can give us a call at 423-654-7630. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. On our handle is at Alchemy Chat.
Say that last part again about the Facebook and Instagram.
Our handle is at Alchemy Chat with 2 T's.
At Alchemy Chat. Okay. All right. Well, it has been a pleasure talking to both of y'all. A real pleasure. And I admire y'all. I compliment you. And, I just want to thank you for being on the program today.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Absolutely. And to all the good neighbors of Cleveland and Chattanooga area, after meeting Cora and Destiny and learning more about Alchemy MedSpa and Wellness Center, I tell you, I know they hope that you'll take a moment to consider all they have to offer and remember them when you need or want the services they provide. But I want you to listen at their passion and how much they care. This is not just a business to them. They really care about you, the individual. And so I feel that. I've never seen y'all before today, never been in your med spa, but I already feel comfortable enough to believe that I could come there and just get the help that I need. So just remember these 2 young ladies and the whole team and consider them in the future when you're looking at getting the kind of products and services that they provide to you. And before ending this episode, I'd like to thank you, all the listeners, for taking time out of your busy day to visit with us at the Good Neighbor Podcast. Always remember to support the locally owned and operated businesses in Cleveland and the greater Chattanooga area. And this is Scott with the Friends and Neighbors Group. Everyone go out and make this a remarkable day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpcleveland.com. That's gnpcleveland.com or call 423-380-1984.